Did you know that your YouTube video shouldn't just live on YouTube? It also should turn into things like an email that is highly converting and connects with your audience on a weekly basis. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video and exactly how to create those types of emails for your newsletter every single week. And by the way, welcome back to part 2 of this series on your Evergreen content system, how to turn one long form YouTube video into content everywhere for long-term growth. And we're going to be talking about exactly step-by-step how to do that in the form of email marketing, because email is really an important piece of your YouTube cash flow system, right? In this evergreen system, and really getting people to join your email list, become a part of your world, and something that is not just reliant on a platform that you don't own, but your email list is something you do own, and is also something that is highly converting when it comes to sales for your online business. And we don't want it to feel like it's just an extra thing to do. We want it to be a part of this evergreen system. And so I'm going to show you a simple way to make that happen. So the first step that we want to do is, when you're creating a newsletter based on a YouTube video, is think about what's the core message or the main takeaway they're going to get out of that video. So this could be in the format as telling, one main transformation they're going to get out of it and why they should watch the video, or list out the 3 main things they're going to expect to learn if they watch the video, and a call to action to watch the video. And so think about, what is that main thing? What's that premise? What's the message that they are going to get out of watching that video that's going to entice them to want to watch it? And I actually have created my own AI assistant to help me do this really quickly and to format an email for a YouTube video. And so if you're interested at all in that AI assistant, you want more information about it, watch my YouTube Cash Flow Masterclass. That'll give you all the information you need on getting your hands on my exact AI powered tools in order to make this process really simple. Like, what I have done is, basically, I have my transcript for my YouTube video. I can drop it in. It's a custom chat GPT assistant. Drop it in there and it will format what works for email marketing, with this idea of pulling out the main message, the main takeaways that then leads them into wanting to watch the video with a call to action to watch your video. So once you know what that main message is and those main takeaways are, the next thing you're going to do is actually write the email. And there's a couple of different ways that I recommend formatting this. It can be in the format of, maybe you're storytelling, you're telling a story that maybe you shared in the video that then that leads to them wanting to watch the full thing to get the full picture, right? Or you can also make it a tips driven email. Maybe you share in detail like one of the tips that you share in the video, and then say, hey, if you want to learn more about this like type of content, if you want to learn more about this strategy, whatever it is, go ahead and watch this video for the full breakdown on my YouTube channel this week. That's the idea here, right? So now, is after we know what that main message is, now it's writing the actual email. And for me, I use my AI assistant to help me do that, make it really quick, especially when it comes to writing like that first draft, and then I can tweak it from there. And really writing out that email. And the way that's going to make it the most enticing is thinking about like, what's something you can share, either that you already shared in the video, or sharing like the main takeaways that's going to really make them want to actually go watch the video, right? Like, that's the whole point. And so one of the best ways to do this, again, is storytelling, telling a story, maybe something you shared in the video, maybe a super big lesson or a big insight or a big results that you share. And then you're able to have the call to action be to bring people into the YouTube video, or is making it a little bit more tips driven. And maybe you have one of the main points that you share in the video is like in the email itself, but then you're prompting them to watch the video for just even the video version and the full breakdown what it is. So I'm actually going to pop on the screen an example of one of these emails right here, and I'll read it to you real quick on my laptop. So it says, hey friend, are you ready to turn your Instagram into a brand boosting machine? Do you want to know the different ways to monetize your Instagram? Do you want to stop just posting and hoping that you'll make sales? In this email, I'm going to show you how. There are 5 things to keep in mind to making actual money with your Instagram account. So let's talk about it. And then I actually have a call to action at the top here that says, if you would rather watch the video than read how, head here to go to YouTube. Otherwise, keep scrolling. And then I go into, I remember from this email, I shared in detail like the first tip of what I was sharing in the video. And then I prompted them again at the bottom to say, hey, if you want the other 4 things I share about this topic, go ahead and watch this YouTube video. And I found that to be really effective in bringing people into my YouTube content from my email list and nurturing them. And one bonus tip that I actually want to share right here is that another thing that I do on a weekly basis, so besides an email like I just showed you that's a little bit more copy heavy, is we actually do every week something called a content roundup for my brand. That's just the name that I gave it. You can give whatever name you want, but essentially it's a newsletter that happens every single week where we are sharing the new content that went out cross-platform. So we do this typically mostly with YouTube, if I'm doing the podcast currently, then I will share the new podcast episode. We'll share new Instagram content. I'm also highlighting like a freebie or a paid offer and affiliate links. And essentially, like, as the biggest thing though is that YouTube video, right? Like, that's the main thing that we are driving home. And I'll go ahead and pop up on the screen an example of this content roundup. It's very visual. There's lots of graphics. It's able to, yeah, just showcase the new YouTube video and help bring people into actually watching that video. So I actually have in my shop, I sell my email graphic templates. We'll have a link to those in the description as well, where you can get instant access to these Canva templates that I have created in order to create these content roundups. So if you have any interest in that, link will be below in the description. All right, and then when it comes to this evergreen content system, right, like if our goal is to make things evergreen and automated and still have it land and resonate with our ideal customers as much as possible, one thing I found to be extremely effective and that I am implementing myself. So if you guys know my own brand journey, I started off as a photographer. I pivoted into teaching, or I started teaching other photographers when I knew about growing a business. That then led to me really pivoting and niching down to teaching Instagram and Instagram Reels growth. And I did that for a few years before pivoting more recently into teaching YouTube marketing, okay? And really, when I was in that phase of teaching Instagram growth, I actually was saving all of these newsletters I was creating, especially a lot of them were based off my YouTube videos, right? And I was saving copies of all of these emails I was writing and having them saved somewhere. So it could be a folder in Flowdesk, it could be a Google Drive document. And actually, something like a Google Drive document is probably a better option just to make sure it's backed up like in your own system, not something like Flowdesk. But once I got to the point where I had written so many of these, I actually created a workflow, an automatic nurture workflow, where anybody who joined my email list got dropped into this and they were getting a weekly email from me on autopilot. And it was very intentional. I was also including other emails as well that weren't related to just watching my YouTube videos, but it was a way for my audience to consistently be nurtured by me without me having to write new emails every single week. And I actually, at the time, I was using a different email marketing system that allowed you, like, subscribers to re-enter the workflow over and over and over again. Flowdesk just made this upgrade as well, where you can have subscribers re-enter the workflow over and over and over again. And so I was able to really have this workflow that it had like over 50 emails in it that people would go through like in a year time span, and then they would just start from the beginning over again. And I could update it as I went. I could add more emails to the end of it. But it was a way for my community to continue to be nurtured, right? And I didn't have to show up constantly and write new emails. And that's something, again, that now that I've pivoted into YouTube marketing, that I am implementing for myself. And once I have that, like really that library of emails that I can pull from, my plan is to eventually create this sort of nurture sequence, so I don't have to constantly be writing new emails over and over again. I send an email on Monday that's more of something that I write myself, that a lot of times is in real time, and then I have that content roundup every Thursday that my team member is actually doing for me. And so a quick tip with this here is to save your emails maybe by category. Like if it's a more promo email, maybe it leads to a freebie, maybe one that's just more encouraging, inspiring, and then your YouTube videos, right? So then you're able to categorize them. And even within the YouTube video ones that you make, you can categorize them by video topic, especially if you have a few different like main topics that you talk about on your channel. Save those in different categories, and then it's easy to disperse them like evenly throughout maybe an automated funnel, or even to find an email whenever you are in the moment looking for a certain type of email that you want to send to your email list. All right, so the next video in this series is on how to turn your YouTube videos into Instagram content. So essentially how to take your YouTube videos and repurpose them into short form content on Instagram. So stay tuned for that video. We'll pop it up right up here whenever it's ready, or the playlist will be down in the description. And I can't wait to share it with you guys next week. Bye guys.